Hey, what's going on, everyone? I hope you're all having a fantastic day. I'm Tim Eister, and welcome finally to City Skylines 2. Well, not exactly, because I've already uploaded a number of videos on City Skylines 2 already since I've been given early access to the game. But I wanted to wait until release day for starting a new city, so I get to start my city at the same time as everybody else. So you guys can follow along and maybe get some inspiration from the city that I'm going to be building. So without further ado, let's start a brand new game and let's choose our map. I've already pre-decided this. I'm going to be building on the Tampere map. The reason being is the climate is the main reason. It's because we're going to be able to take advantage of all 4 seasons in the game because we have such a wide spectrum of temperatures and you know, weather and whatever we're going to experience, right? We're going to be able to take advantage of the summer, winter, spring, fall, all the seasons. Our latitude is in the northern hemisphere, so for me, it's not going to be super confusing. Summer will be in June and winter will be in January and not the other way around, like on the southern hemisphere maps, which confused the heck out of me. Buildable area, we have a ton of room to build at 66%. We don't really have anything in the way of building. There's no big mountains and stuff on this map, only a few bodies of water. So it should make building pretty easy. And I think I'll be able to build a pretty expansive city. We have all of the outside connections available, and we have a ton of natural resources, like a lot. And now comes the part of choosing a city name. I have predetermined this. I'm going to call my city Bixton. I'm going to be changing this over to a North American theme just because that's what I'm used to. I've never actually built a European themed city before. I'm sorry to all my European friends. But yeah, I'm just going to stick with what I'm familiar with for this series. And I'm going to be turning natural disasters on. And as far as tutorial goes, I've ran through the start of the game a few times already, so I know more or less what I'm doing. All right, without further ado, guys, let's jump right into our game. So here we are. Let's get started in our city. The very first thing I want to do before starting anything at all, before starting any building, is I need to build a road layout. Now, this is how I like to start a city. So if you're starting a fresh city in City Skylines 2 and you're feeling a little overwhelmed, you don't know what to do, I highly encourage you go check out my tutorial that I've done with Paradox Interactive that shows you exactly how to start a city. Now, there's a million different ways to do this. The way I find that works better is to start laying out your roads before doing anything. This is what sets the base for your city, and it helps you kind of build that foundation to expand on. So I'm going to start off with doing that. But before getting too ahead of myself, I want to create some nice seawalls here along my river. So I'm going to spend the next couple of minutes doing this. So enjoy this little time lapse, and I will catch up with you in just a sec. Okay, and after about 30 minutes of work, I completed the seawalls along my little stream here. But for some reason, these seawalls are a little bit more difficult to build than on other maps that I played on. But at the end of the day, you know, it's probably just the nature of the beast, right? City Skylines has always been a finicky game when building these little mini projects. And seawalls are not exactly a set feature in the game. They're kind of an unintended consequence of how the game engine works and how the road tools work and all that. It's just possible to make seawalls. They're not too difficult to make. So I mentioned this in a couple of my older, well, not old, but a couple of other City Skylines 2 videos. To create seawalls is actually quite simple most of the time. All you have to do is take any road, raise it up to 2.5 meters, and run it against any body of water. So you kind of just like straddle the sides of the coast and you should get a seawall. Most of the time it's easy, but I don't know, for some reason on this map it was a little more challenging. But anyways, I got it done and I find it looks fantastic. For a downtown area, especially with this being such like a narrow little river, I thought it was essential to have a little canal kind of thing. Anyway, so with that being done, I'm going to move on to building my roads in the city. And with this being a North American style city, there is going to be a lot of grid patterns, but I'm not going to confine myself to a set grid pattern for the entire city. I am going to create a lot of mini grids in different orientations and kind of mesh them together, as you're seeing me do right now. I'm just really following the contours of this peninsula, and I'm just going to try to cram the roads in so they fit nicely together. But yeah, the city's not going to be a massive grid. All right, and after a little bit of work, this is what I got for a road network. It's very basic, nothing too extravagant, but just enough to get started on our town. Now let's take a quick look here, see what kind of connections we have coming into the city. But forgive me first, guys, for the darkness right now. It looks like it's going to rain here pretty soon in Bixton. But it is a nice crisp 21 degrees in the middle of summer, so we're all good. A little bit of rain never hurt nobody. So we have this main highway here coming into town. And we also have this highway here that's also coming into our playable area, but this stretch of highway goes underground. So we have a long tunnel coming through downtown. I don't know if I'm going to keep this, but I might, as it may be useful in the future as the city expands, but we'll see. And we also have some rail access over here. And we also have some power lines coming into town. I'm going to have to figure out where I want to place my industry in town. But I'll leave that to when the time comes. So let's get started. I'm going to have to place some low density residential here. But first I need to provide power to the city. I'm just going to set up a little temporary thing over here. I'm going to set up a transformer station. Connect this up just like so. This is temporary. I'm going to move this eventually. But we need power. And as for water, it doesn't look like we have any groundwater in this area, so I'm going to have to go with a water tower. Or maybe a water pumping station, actually, because it's cheaper. Yeah, it's cheaper in every regard. It's cheaper to plop, just 25,000. Upkeep is 10,000 a month, and water output is 100,000 versus the water tower, which is a third of that, but almost triple the price. So, where can I place this? Right here is a good option, I think. Does this need a road connection? Yes, it does. But first, let me connect my water pipes, and I will create just a little road that goes up to it. There we go. All right, so we got our water and power. We're ready to get started. Now let's get zoning in here. Not gonna go too crazy right off the bat. Just gonna start with just enough to get my residential down. Looks like we already have some commercial. Oh, what's going on? Oh! Oh, I forgot about water output. How could I do that? That's such like a basic thing. Okay, so as far as water output goes, I think I did good by putting my intake pump over here. And my sewer outlet, I think, is going to go over here. And I'm just gonna pipe this straight through, just like that. And there we go, boom, just like that, problem solved. And this building does not require any power, which is great. It doesn't require any power because it's literally just an outlet. So that's awesome. Okay, so we already have some commercial demand coming in here, so let's go ahead and zone a few commercial areas right in the middle of town. And then keep the residential zones coming in. Actually, I'm not going to place anything there because there was this old farmhouse on this map, which... Oh, I can actually relocate it? No way. All right, I didn't know that. Awesome. Okay, well, in this case, I thought this was permanent, so I was kind of imagining this becoming a park. Maybe it should still remain a park. But for now, I'm going to go place it right by this one. Look, there's two little old farmhouses. I'm just going to place that here for now. It almost looks like it could be a tourist attraction. A nice water wheel. I'd like to make a park with at least one of these little buildings. But unfortunately, we need some residential zoning. So we're going to move those buildings for now. And we're already needing some industrial. But I don't want to place my industrial right here or anywhere near this area. Where I'm kind of imagining it going is over here, because it kind of looks like a port area. So I'm going to wait until I get to the first milestone, and at which point I'll be able to unlock a couple of squares. Maybe I'll unlock these 3 squares, and I'll start my industrial area. Actually, before I say that, I should probably check the wind direction. And it is going in the right direction. Awesome. So it's blowing from left to right, which is good. So it'll send the pollution off to sea. And I think this will be like the dominant sea side. This seems more like a lake. You know, we have a body of water that kind of snakes its way off to the edge of the map. Not very navigatable for a boat. But this side here looks very wide all the way to the edge of the map. So this is where like the ports and anything boat related will be on this side. All right, so we're almost at our first milestone. A tiny village. How many squares do we get? Map tiles. It doesn't say. Oh, look at that. Well, we're about to find out. We get 3 extra tiles. We get 1 progression point and 600,000 extra currencies in the bank. And we can already start laying down some medium density row housing. Fantastic. All right, well, I'm going to first start off by expanding our buildable area here. I'm going to buy these 3 tiles, which comes up to only $17,000, so that's not too much. And wow, look at that. We're already having a lot of medium density residential coming in, so I better start zoning some of that. I think I'm just going to replace some of the zones, some of these low density zones, because this is downtown after all. It would be cool to have some nice historic buildings in here. Okay, I guess that took care of the residential demand. And let's take a look over here, see what we can do for our industrial area. Oh yeah, we have some more ruins over here. Castle ruins. I'm just gonna scooch these over here. Maybe we can make that a part of like an old fort or something. That would be really cool, guys. Yeah, that would be so cool to make like an old historic village with all of these props. Because honestly, they're great, and you can't plop these. So, keep them on your map if you can. You can move them. Alright guys, I'm going to go into time-lapse mode for a couple of minutes here, and I'm going to start to lay down the street for the industrial zone. And as you can see, the area that I've chosen for this is over here in this little peninsula. I don't know why, but this area here makes me feel like Boston. It just looks like Boston. I don't know why, but it does. So anyways, this is going to be the industrial area of the city. And it's not very big, but it's going to be like the port region of the city, and it's just enough to get us started. And what I also like about this area is because it's separated from the rest of the city from like this little body of water here, it makes it not as awkward to build a buffer between residential areas and industrial areas. So it just fits in more naturally. And the fact that the rail line runs through here helps as well. It creates another layer of buffer between the two. So then I don't have to worry about pollution as much, and it's just, yeah, it just works well. I'm just thankful the wind is blowing in the right direction. Okay, let's finally get started on some industrial zonage. Now, I probably don't want to go too crazy with the zonage, as my demand is probably going to sink like a rock. If I accelerate the simulation here, yeah, you can see that. It doesn't take much at the start of the game, you know, to get things started, and it usually doesn't take much of any particular type of zone to get your demand down. Alright, so we got a little bit of commercial here. Oh. It's like our residential demand is rising. Industrial demand as well. Get some more zones in here. Get that going. And there we are. Let's take a look at how we are doing economically, just so we don't get too off track. Now, in City Skylines 2, it's very difficult to make money early game, unless you play your cards exactly right and whatever. But it's very hard to turn a profit for the first, I'd say, like, few thousand people. So don't be afraid if your city is becoming a decent size and you're not making any money. It's okay. As long as you're not spending a ton of money and just destroying your capital, you'll be fine. So there's not a whole lot we can do about our budget situation right now, because we have yet to unlock the taxation or the services or the production tab. Taxation comes pretty soon though, small village. But we can at least take a look at what's going on here. So you can see that most of our income is coming from government subsidies. Most of early game, this is what's going to happen. Just so, you know, it provides a nice cushion. And it seems that most of our expenditures right now are from our services, which there are 2 of them right now in the city, which is electricity and water. Yeah, so we are importing water. Actually, am I exporting any water? Oh, wait, what? Did I have groundwater this whole time? I thought I went into my water menu and I didn't see any. Oh, okay. I have to be on the groundwater pumping station to be able to see the water. Okay, because even on the water tower... See, water towers don't require a water... groundwater bubble. So you can just, like, literally place them anywhere. And so does the pumping station. As long as it's beside a body of water, you're good. Oops. Anyway, it's no big deal. Are we exporting any water? We are not exporting any water right now because there is no outside connection for water pipes right now. But holy, am I ever producing a lot of water. Wow, that's crazy. But, okay, the pumping station is still... It's still the cheapest option. And it generates the most water by far. Wow, that's crazy. All right, well, I don't want to worry about that too much. What I should worry about right now is my demand is rising for pretty much everything. So we're going to want to keep that up. And you know what? With this being downtown, I think I'm just going to go ahead and replace all of this low density residential. You know, this downtown is meant for big buildings. And we'll keep the low density residential for the outskirts of town. And I mean, this is all gonna eventually become downtown, but for now, this is what we're gonna get. Commercial. Yeah, I guess I'll have a little commercial zone over here, and then maybe some more over here. We'll have a nice mixture, get as close to a mixed zoning area as we can. And what is going on over here? Not enough customers. All right, well, it's only one business for now, so I'm not going to worry about that too much yet. All right, so it looks like we need to get some more industrial zoning in here. Now, I don't totally want to ruin the terrain, so I'm going to keep this... I'm going to get this to fit as well as I can get it. There. And that should do for now. Oh my god, wow. Early game, guys, you guys are going to see this is a thing every time. Your demand meters are just going to be like going back and forth like crazy. But the thing is I think the demand bars are... They're more sensitive early game just because your town is very small, right? So it doesn't take a lot of any type of zoning to just throw everything off balance. So I just find it kind of funny. Yeah, and just like that, we need some more commercial in here. Oh, holy crap, our first rainstorm here in town. And it is a feisty storm indeed. Look at that, it's raining sideways, guys. Woo! Wow. Crazy weather over here in Bixton. But it's still summer. Still nice and warm. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to pollute this water. This groundwater, but, you know, it's just a cost of doing business, you know? We gotta get some industry in here. Gotta get the city growing. And wow, just like that. That is beautiful, actually. Holy. I should have probably made this a 4-lane, honestly. I think I'm going to upgrade this. Just because I see this becoming a traffic issue in not too long. And so are the railways. The railways running through town, like, you know, ground crossings like this. You know, they tend to get a little clogged up once the traffic starts to get heavy. So we're going to want to pay attention to that as the city grows. Yeah, and look at that, guys. We got a little downtown going already. You know, we got some row houses. Looking nice so far. I'm already going to have to start expanding my street layout here pretty soon. And we're about to cross into the next milestone. And we're going to become a small village. So just a couple more, not even 100 more XP, and we should get there. Yeah, let's speed up the simulation, get some more houses in. And that should tip us over the edge into the next milestone. Whew! Crazy weather. And let's zoom in here. Let's take a look at what's going on in town. I just love these bridges, guys. Like this nice little canal here that I created. I just, I was looking around a minute ago off camera, and I'm gonna have to fix some little imperfections here. But overall, I think this area looks pretty good. All right, and pretty soon we're gonna want to have a landfill in town. Oh, look at that! Boom! We are a small village now. So we have $700,000 more in the bank, 2 more progression points, and we can buy 4 more tiles. So let's see what we unlocked here. Okay, awesome. We already have some schools, some medium density residential, not row houses, but actual like standalone buildings. We can now tax our citizens and take out loans, which I don't really advise. I've never touched loans in the game unless you're in like a really die-hard situation. I wouldn't touch loans because they are pretty predatory. And yeah, debt is usually not a good thing. Okay, so what? Are we making money? How am I making money? Wow. All right, well, I guess I'm not doing so bad after all, because I was expecting this to be in the red for quite some time, but wow, okay. Bixton is off to a great start. Okay, so let's get some more resident or commercial in here. But I'm gonna have to start expanding my street layout here. Uh-oh. I think my grid here is all off kilter. Hang on, I'm gonna redo this. Yeah, it's pretty tough to maintain a perfect grid in this game. I think what may have screwed me up is maybe this street. No, I don't know what happened, but yeah, grids are certainly very hard to keep perfect in this game. You know what? After logging a few dozen hours in the game, I can honestly say I prefer how zoning works in City Skylines 2. All right, there we are. We'll get some more businesses in here. And a little bit more industrial as well. Let's get some of that in here. I really love this new feature, guys. If you zone in the water, the industrial buildings actually reclaim the land required for the space they need. That's really cool. Alright, so while that's going on, I'm going to take a minute to expand on my road network, which will give us some more room for future expansion. But I just noticed, just a minute ago, that there's a giant hill here that I hadn't noticed before. This could probably eventually become a park, I'm thinking. So I'm not going to want to build any streets on here. As City Planner Plays would say, oh, not that. You got to respect the topography. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at them contour lines. So this road here is going to make an abrupt left turn. Maybe not as abrupt. I'm just going to make it turn kind of like this. And I'm basically just going to follow the contours of this hill to eventually end up here. Yeah, so this area will be dedicated to a park eventually. Not an actual park, because you can't really build any like custom-sized, custom-shaped parks in this game. But it'll be like nice trails and some trees and stuff. You know, actually trees take a long time to grow in this game, so I think I'm just going to preemptively start plopping away here. Get some saplings in town. Brush strength, I'm gonna bring that up to like 75%. Let's get some birch trees in here. Some big old hickory trees. Oh yeah, this is gonna be great. And I'm gonna boost up the strength to 100%. What else can we fit in here? Maybe some spruce. A little bit of everything. And some linden there. So that should, in another few years, grow to be pretty thick. And yeah, I'm just gonna place some more trees down here because, you know, once fall rolls around, this city's gonna look beautiful. There's already quite a few trees on this map, you know? It's a pretty forested map, so I think it's going to look very nice here shortly. All right, so let's work. I'm gonna try to get to level 3. Let's get to level 3, and then I'll call it this episode. I'm just having so much fun, and I don't want to end this episode just yet. So let's just keep going. Okay, so we have some streets here that are in yellow. What does that mean? It means that... Does that mean traffic? Yes, it does. Not traffic, but residential suitability. So some of these streets are not very suitable for low density residential, but if I switch over to medium density, it seems to be fine. And actually, why don't I start placing down some newly unlocked medium density residential? And it's probably not going to take very many of these taller buildings to squash our demand. Yeah, just like that. No more. All right, and let's get some more commercial zones in here. We'll make this like a little commercial shopping area. And this is a pedestrian path, by the way, guys. So this whole area here, this is completely walkable. I kind of built this just as is for now. I'm sure some of these are probably going to change into roads. So I had built like a little bit of a little interchange over here, but I didn't really like it off camera, and I just destroyed it. But as you can see, I have a road running along this length. I just kept it as is because I'm probably going to build another kind of little interchange, but anyway. Would you look at that, guys? We already got some decently tall buildings here in town. Kind of out of place a little bit. I feel like this should be kind of in the middle of the town. But that's okay, because we can start getting rid of some of this low density residential, start to replace it with some row houses, and sort of transform this into an eventual downtown. Okay, so before I end this episode, oh wow, we're already at 1,100 people, and quickly rising. Most of our population is adult, so not very many children or anything moving in just yet. And in terms of budget, wow, okay, so we're actually bringing in a decent piece of dough, and most of that is coming in the form of taxes. I'm not going to touch taxes just yet. I don't think we're at that point. I'm going to leave that for a future episode, but, you know, even without touching anything, we're bringing in a healthy amount. I should probably start looking into providing some services for people. So I'm not at 105,000 in upkeep a month. I can't afford that in terms of health services. What about a cemetery? 55,000 a month. Okay. No, maybe not. A school, 25,000 a month. I can certainly support a school. That is not a problem. So let's start with a school. You know, I feel like that's a very essential service that every town should have, no matter how small or big. Oh, that would have fit so perfect there, but I put a roundabout. That would have been so cool. What can I do? What can I do? What can I do? What can I do? I mean, I guess I could... where would be a nice place for a school? You know, I was putting this emphasis on 156 meters a minute ago just to keep everything equal, but it's not really doing me any favors now. Where's a good place for a school? I guess right here would be an alright spot, but over here as well. Okay, guys, I'm gonna be forced to move these buildings once again, but honestly, these ruins, I think on this hill, as long as it doesn't mess up the terrain too much. Oh yeah, that's so cool. That's awesome. All right, I like that there. And then these old mill buildings. I don't know, I could put one over here and then put a second one. Maybe Maybe down here. You know what? They're mills. Old water mills. So maybe if I can make some sort of river or a little lake or something, that would look pretty cool. But regardless, these buildings look really cool over here in the forest. And I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm going to place a school. Oh, it's not really suitable for a 2-lane road, but I'm going to place it here anyways. I'm thinking about maybe replacing this with a 2-lane, a three block wide road. That would look really cool. And sooner rather than later, I'll unlock road services, which means that I can beautify this road. You know, I can put some trees and make a nice grass median instead of just cement. But regardless, I think that looks pretty cool. Maybe I'll convert this section as well. I find that looks a little better. Yeah. All right, so look at that. We're 3/4 of the way to level 3. Let's keep it going. Let's get some more low density zones in here. Moving on over into the suburbs. You know what? I think I'm just preemptively going to place a lot of residential zones for now. And that'll just keep demand at bay for the next little bit. There. How am I doing for traffic? I don't think it's going to be much of a problem so far. Not bad. Starting to get a little bit of congestion here on the main street, but nothing too crazy. But for now, we need some more industrial zonage. I'm going to start to expand a bit more in this direction. You know what? This is the first time that I'm starting a new city where I find myself struggling to find enough space this early in the game. That's pretty wild. Every other map that I started, I had so much room, I didn't know what to do with it. But this map, with it being on a peninsula at the start, it's making it a bit challenging. And it's only going to get more challenging as we unlock bigger buildings. You know, the elementary school is still quite small. Yeah, we may face some challenges here pretty soon. Okay, so I'm still in the green, actually, after placing this school by quite a bit. I can probably look at placing some upgrades, and I think a playground is a pretty good contender. So by placing a playground... Oh, what's this now? A rock musician mansion. Woo! All right, well, I'll place that in just a sec. But first, I want to take a look at... Okay, then. All right. 2 unique buildings back to back. All right. 3rd time's the charm. By placing a playground, I'm going to get +10 well-being within 300 meters and +5 well-being for students in the school. I'm going to place a playground, children's clinic. It's a bit expensive right now, so I'm not going to place that. And an extension wing I have no need for just yet, as we only have just over a 1/10 of our capacity filled in. Let's take a look at our unique buildings. So we unlocked a rock musician mansion. Wow, Bixton is so awesome. Such a great place that rock musicians already want to move into town. Where do we place this mansion? Oh, you know what? Over here by the water is a nice spot. Here, I'm going to terraform this just a little bit. Just gonna add a nice little curve there. Maybe smooth this out just so the edge of the water isn't so jagged. There, and all right, boom, just like that, guys. We're already at milestone number 3. Wow, that's awesome. And I'm going to place my... Oh, never mind, I guess not. Is it really too close to the water? Still too close. All right, well, if this is too close, then I don't know what I'm gonna do. Okay, yeah, there's certainly something going on here. I guess this is not a suitable spot. Oh, man, actually, what if I place a road? Oh, it's still counting it as water. Oh, shoot. All right. Well, in that case, I have no choice but to put the mansion right here on the corner of the street. And I'll just tree this in. There. Yeah, look, the trees aren't even spawning where I edited the terrain. Okay. Well. There goes our little expansion project. But that's okay. What else do we have here? It's Balter Pines. So this is a monolith that diversifies and enhances its surroundings by providing +3 well-being within 750 meters. Wow, that's quite a bit. In this building, I am going to plop, I think right here, as it fits perfectly in between these buildings. And that is wonderful. And just by placing those 2 unique buildings, I'm already almost halfway through, or a third through level 3. But I'm gonna call it quits for now, guys. I'm just having so much fun right now. I don't really want to end the episode, but unfortunately I have to. And well, that is going to be it for me for this episode, guys. I really appreciate you watching. If you enjoyed this episode, consider leaving a comment down below, liking the video, and be sure to subscribe to the channel to get notified of future uploads. I will be back this week with another episode of City Skylines 2, and we're gonna rock Bixton for as long as I can. Eventually, we're gonna get it to become a major metropolis, and I feel like we're off to a great start already. So again, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Take care.